One thing I really like about a lot of ID arts is that they start, they show off other things that are in their world, other arts, other IDs. Like, bald guy over there! Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we finished, just quick ran through a mirror dungeon. And this time, we are going to start off Canto 3, but first things first will be a thread excavation, but actually firster things first is Hierarch Ishmael. I want to go into Uptie. I sold like all of my ego shards, except for the Ishmael ones, because my goal is to start uptying Ishmael with the Hierarch. This red coin here, I don't remember if I brought this up before, but the red coin is an unbreakable coin. The name is pretty self-explanatory. Even if it loses in a clash, it will still go through, but at a much weaker power. It is locked to a power of 1. But yeah, we're going to go with this. Generally speaking, it's pretty fine if you just get things up to Uptie 3. Uptie 4 isn't a massive deal most of the time. Makes you wonder why they even hold these banquets, doesn't it? Had they come, they would have done naught but to bring displeasure to you. Have you not said as such yourself? I guess that's true. The child walked out of the banquet hall and let out a deep sigh, folding her fan. All she got for attending a Dagwanyan banquet for once. No one came to the banquet but my big brother with that silly smile, huh? Was a nearly empty party. The family hierarch and the family elders, whom she actually came to see, apparently all had some business to attend to and only left her letters and notes. And the people who were indifferent about her didn't even bother showing their faces. So, essentially, there's but a single family member who was there to welcome her. This being an auspicious place, it has already been anticipated that they would not hail your return with open arms. Yet, I sense that aught is certainly awry. My head's already starting to hurt just thinking about it. However, with all credit to your efforts, we may as well have passed the first round already. Protect what you have, collect what intelligence that may be gained, and we shall garner what wisdom there is to be found about the competition. Let not haste taint your wisdom. The first round of the family hierarch evaluation was to bring them a clue of immortality. Spoilers for Canto 8! It's gonna be so long until we get to that, and also like very minor. Fortunately, after a long and grueling journey, the child was able to find for herself what she sought. Phew! Can't believe we actually managed to scoop up some of that I wish I had a censor button on here. Of the D place from the redacted whale's traces. We were really in luck, Jeez, I'm still shaking from what a close call that was. First time in the lakes, almost devoured by the waves as soon as we sailed out. It could not be helped. You are a scion of the Gia family. You must have had no censored visit U Corp even once. Yeah, I really censored saying that blind me my voyage to the Great Lake in search of the clue of immortality, but oh, too early for that observation, I suppose. But it's all right. Nothing to worry about. That's not what the observer of this possibility is curious to learn, is it? The fact that the child has never been to the Great Lake. The fact that the child was born as a scion of the Gia family. They're all trivial issues, as long as there was an observer, a wishmaker, with the mere act of witnessing, and only witnessing. The world reflected on the mirror will only grow clearer. Yes, as it does now. He who harbors an iridescent light in his eye, oh, he who glimmers and showers the world with the gem's shine. Yet hidden it remained for long, shadowed for years in his embrace. The fell omen shall return, and tears of red shall flow like a great, winding river. A creepy song to hear as soon as we walk out into the streets. Guess it's Hong Yuan for you. What an egregious song this is. The gem of Hong Yuan. Can't be referring to anyone else than young Lord Baoyu. Well, look at how these songs can spread. He sure is a frightening foe, I can't deny that. The song called him a fell omen, and aptly so. He's feared by every family hierarch candidate in the competition. At first, what they felt was envy. Envy for the gem of Hong Yuan was praised and loved by the elders. That envy soon turned to fear when the gem began to ruthlessly wield the favor and love as his power to expand his network and dominate the competition. Every move he made was with threat against the other candidates. What the child fears is something else. The scariest thing about him is that none of us have any idea what he's thinking behind that smiling face of his. Yet has he not always shown quite the pleasant degree of gentleness to you, miss? He thought it kind to visit your banquet after all. We're not close with him in your youth. Yeah, we used to be pretty close. Followed him around because he'd always play with me wearing that silly smile of his, but the smiles feel so... I don't know, it makes my skin crawl. I understand. For there's aught I could presume. Yeah, I might just be letting my emotions get the better of me. However, I have faith that you are not one to suspect without cause. The aught of the smile must have given you this perplexing sensation. The child shakes her head, trying to clear her mind after sharing her concerns to her right-hand man. Analyzing other candidates was all well and good, but she decided that it would be best for her to focus on what she has at this very moment. Just worried that even that concern might be kinda premature, to be honest. Gotta focus on protecting what we have until the evaluation day. And let us return to, Nonjianglu. Been a while since I got to sleep in my own room, huh? Same night, the latter edge of the high hour. Contrary to what she said, the child cannot seem to fall asleep. It was more like she wasn't thinking of going to sleep at all tonight. This was her first night back in Hong Yuan. She knew that it was pretty much a guarantee that she'd be getting ambushed. If she doesn't survive the ambush, even if she were to be revived later, the clue she brought would be gone. And she wasn't wrong. Miss, She family snakeman has released the serpent. No place like home, huh? Would have thought the underestimate you had tonight been completely peaceful, yet strange. Yet, you saw this is seriously not the time for one of your weird puns. The child muttered at her right-hand man, who somehow found it appropriate to make a pun in this tense situation. But he only looked back at her in confusion, as though it was no joke at all. I wish also that the situation indeed called for jests, yet it seems that I have neglected aught. It is not the Shi family that holds these serpents' leash. There's a sound of several pairs of powerful legs kicking the ground, followed by the terrified screams of her clansmen. The child's expression hardened with the realization she was under even greater danger than she thought. The hares, the rats... No, there's more? Our clan is under attack. We must have allowed the mouth to strike them in the dark, as the rat swarm is coming to overwhelm us. Here I was, wondering where you'd gone instead of coming to my banquet. It's such a heartless thing to say, Ishmael. I was the only one who failed to see at the Baron banquet of yours at Dahuating, wasn't I? Big brother Baoyu? Don't trust anyone in this stupid house. Looks like you found a hidden knack for knifing people in the back while I was gone, huh? Are you sure knack is the right word? Please, I've learned and studied hard for this. How did you even get a hold of the snake's leash? I guess all this questioning is kind of pointless, huh? He carries himself with the air of an enlightened person, but the child knows that it's all a charade. His laid-back attitude wasn't prudence, it was arrogance. And every word that spoke of humanity and righteousness that came out of his mouth was hollow. I never should have let my guard down. Damn for the good memories we shared. Oh, you're still seeking to gain understanding even in a jam like this? I'm so proud of you. But yeah, it's been a forgiving quality on us. But wouldn't you have to survive another tonight first? You want to put that understanding to good use? It seems kind of untenable for you, doesn't it? And what about you, that is. Enough talk. Nothing will come of this conversation anyway. Prove myself by surviving tonight. So you're not giving up? Okay, Ishmael. If that's what you want, go ahead. But I hope you left your regrets behind. The child prepares for battle, calming herself as the shadowy beasts poured into her room. Most other candidates would have folded here out of fear. But she wasn't going down that easy. She was going to put her all in surviving tonight, as she always has done. Yeah, probably gonna regret this. It's not like me to back down. Not here. The struggle against the currents, surviving through these deadly, painful circumstances. She was used to it all. just as she was, the smile of the man before her wore. We got really lucky in getting definitely 2 of the 5 most interesting Uptie stories. Wild Hunt is interesting in and of itself. Obviously, it is a bad end ID. So there is that. And this one. So, Carmen as the Observer is something that's been known since, if I can go over to Walpurgis, since the introduction of Phil Clare, Donoff of Sinclair. He references Carmen directly as the Observer in his Uptie story. But this is the first one that, first of all, is a time gated, and second of all, is Carmen acknowledging that something's wrong. This one's not really too much of a spoiler, I don't think. Because this is just straight up part of Dream of a Red Chamber. Hong Lu's real name is Xiao Baoyu. Hong Lu is a title. I don't remember exactly what Hong Lu means. So, like, there's very obviously the question of Ishmael and Hong Lu aren't related. And also Ishmael, the, English whaler, being the daughter of a Chinese family. Also a little bit weird, but mirror worlds. So it's the first time that Carmen acknowledged that something's weird, and also the first time we actually see Carmen. We get some of the inserts from the Lobotomy Corporation cutscenes. I don't remember. I think it's just the later days ones. So yeah, it's really, really quite something, is this one. Family Hierarch Ishmael. People are a little bit unhappy with how it is in terms of strength, but the story of it is fantastic. Moving on to our thread excavations, we'll do that. This is a little bit longer than I expected. For thread excavations, you'll be fighting a boss for each one. I wish I could see what they all are. I could actually... Where did I do with my phone? I can at least get the readings for these ones. Just give me a second. Alright, so yeah, we'll get, every day you have 3 daily bonuses that will give you a few more. I don't remember exactly how many it is. And just as we go along, each one will get stronger and stronger, 10 levels each time. Right now, it's split into, you also get different ones for every different day. So, yeah. Wow, this thing's really far behind. We of course have Lust for the Headless Ichthys. Let me just grab its notes on here and get going. So yeah, the thread excavations are just a focus encounter against an abnormality. I don't think any of the abnormalities are particularly difficult that you face off against, but it's still tougher than the XP excavations. It has the appearance of a fish. Its head has been cut off. The cut surface is clean. It appears to have been done with a single-sided edge, such as a knife or scythe. It exhibits motions in spite of the lack of a head. I'm aware that whether or not an abnormality has an intact head is completely irrelevant to its ability to show activity, but I will note this regardless. The inflated sac visible around the chest area could not make clear observation. We'll note new discoveries at a future report. A silhouette is observed inside the inflated sac around the chest. It bears resemblance to a flower with the central nervous system of a human. It expands the sac to use a blunt instrument and can squeeze it at a high speed to expel liquid. However, while the sac is deemed to be a major component of its attacks, quick destruction should prove effective. We'll note new discoveries in a future report. We have not gotten that future report yet. Thank you, Marcel. But yeah, we can just go on through here. That'll be fine. Sure, why not? Damn, that is really unlucky. The Headless Ichthys, Headless Ichthys is actually an abnormality I don't have a terribly huge amount of experience with, weirdly enough. But I don't recall it being that difficult. So I could be wrong though, I don't know. Go all topper on this one. Requiem hits right away. Very nice. Thank you, Wild Hunt. Of course, right now we don't really have the identities to take full advantage of the fact that the days correspond to a different weakness, although we do have Shank, which is Lust. And that's pretty nice. Thanks for the reuse. Yeah, I wish I could show off every day, but again, I don't find Headless Ichthys to be that difficult of a fight. It doesn't really... I think the big thing is that it just doesn't roll that high. Ichthys. I'm just, like, trying to think of the most difficult Threadluxes. I honestly don't really... Like, I don't know if there really are any. Yeah, 4 from there. Obviously, as you go on, the rewards get bigger and bigger. But oh well. This took a little longer than I expected for all this. I forgot how long Ishmael's story was. Oh well. The sun is almost set, leaving the bus to be shrouded in dusk. Karen's humming a song while driving. Found myself singing along in my head to that strangely familiar tune. Most beautiful of performances are born from broken and ruined things. Ironic, the way the world works. Virgilia spoke, having noticed that I was looking at the driver's seat. Alas, they have not the privilege to fully appreciate the glee of their own music. Oh, how unjust that is. Carol, look like you're in a good mood today. Carol nodded. Joy brings out singing. I see. Although, as far as I remember, you would often hum that song when you felt down. Karen has no such memories. Karen sings when she's happy. Virgilia's eyes seemed to well with a subdued shade of dark. The kind of hue that would be picked right away if one wanted to express solitude as a color. But it only lasted for a brief moment. So I decided to dismiss it as the vivid sunset playing tricks with the light. The world Karen hums now is one that lacks sound and color. She's going through a long tunnel with no exit in sight. I'm sure that, just like history of my own life, I've forgotten. Karen and Virgilius must have their own threads of cruel reminders. It's called Leviathan. Pardon me. I believe that's enough of personal stories, Dante. Your work is to manage your crew, not befriend this old guide. I looked at his face again. That momentary hint of sadness had fleeted, replaced with a faint smile. I gave him a few nods, then turned around to check on the sinners. Our bus passengers have had lifted spirits for a while now. It helped that they did what they were assembled for and secured a golden bough for the first time. All the sinners were busy talking about their exploits in J-Corp's district. Oh, you should have seen me show the card right there. Seriously, that was a real highlight. I'm starting to get sick of hearing the same story for the 7th time in a row, so let me change the subject. Where are we going this time? This time, right to J-Corp's nest. District 11, huh? Jobs take me all sorts of places I never thought to visit. 'Tis home to another great individual, and you are certain to find a souvenir shop there. I've always yearned for a limited edition figurine set. Oh, didn't I also have a restaurant chain famous for its hamburger steak? Life's got much easier these days, hasn't it? Back in my marching days, all I had was a pinch of salt in my mouth. I know, right? The only food I could swallow during my voyage was canned soup that tasted like iron. I can't wait to trace the steak, right, Yoshi? Well, imagine the variances in blood color by region does make me salivate. Can't discuss anything with you. Hey, kid, what do you want to eat? Looking for someone to share tales with and to have a sensible conversation, Roja naturally turned to Sinclair. However... Sinclair? What? Gosh, golly, what's wrong? He's turned pale. He's also suffering from hyperventilation and tremors. How long has he been like this? Ever since Mr. Virgilius mentioned J-Corp. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because you did not order me to. I love Merceau. Merceau stared at me like I was at fault for not doing the obvious. I just got an upset stomach. Sorry. Really sure you're okay? And now that I think about it... Faust, I'm noticing a trend where one of us has visceral reactions to destinations that Vergilius reveals. Additionally, when we arrive, it turns out that the place does have a history with the person in question. Does that have something to do with the reason we joined the company? We just refer to the team as we. Huh? It is a part of my mission to detect the sizes of changes. As for your question, while I can't tell you the reason for recruiting the sinners in detail, there'd be no point in denying that our destinations and the backgrounds of each sinner are indeed related to a degree. Well, upper snobs have some condition that makes them yap on and on about things like we answer with a plain yes or no. Easter and Porphyron isn't always correct. Faust simply adopts the most effective mode of communication for the given situation. Is there what? It means that you're struggling to understand Faust because you're too uneducated. Not that Faust is overeducated. Why you... Just as Heathcliff approached Faust with his bat shaking in fury, Sinclair suddenly started throwing up on the floor. The bus finally quieted down after that. Someone's got a real tummy ache. Inspection! Yeah, this is when I first started to have to grind because it's a real big jump. But we'll deal with it. Shortly after the situation with Sinclair was dealt with... By the way, you meant the back streets of District 11 when you said K-Corp's Nest, yeah? I missed pointing it out earlier since everyone got a bit excited here. I rarely misspeak, if ever. I know what I said, Gregor. K-Corp's Nest is where we're going. Alright, but if we're entering a nest... Indeed. This is the immigration process. I don't have a K-Corp visa. You ain't about to tell me everyone else got one, right? Huh? Well, look at me! The solution is simple. C-I. And keep on D-E-R. Then we've breached the defenses. In short, cider. Whatever that eccentric abbreviation means for Ryoshi, the Sayers have learned to stop questioning it. Company as big as ours might get a free pass. Not to mention, breaking through using the method dear Ryoshi suggested will take ages. How badly must you underestimate a nest actively governed by a wing to say that? I see. No one's going to take into account how much I'd suffer for that cider, huh? Sadly, none of our sinners bothered to respond to me in any capacity. As Ishmael said, we'll pass the immigration without needing a visa. Limbus Company has backing from the shareholders of a wide array of fields. Huh? You have to know the shareholder of H-Corp, then? They once personally visited our home because my younger sibling insisted on having a red passport as a kid. Couldn't say. I'm merely a humble guy who wouldn't be in the position to know such a thing. Otherwise, the question doesn't seem like one that's really worth answering. How harsh. That leaves the route to the checkpoint as our concern. Thorough inspections mean there are plenty of people looking for an easy way in, including those who take the pass by force. I hear several interlopers surrounding the bus. Well, the bus will battle. Actually, was it this one or was it... Okay, no, not yet, because these guys still roll like dog shit. Even if they are a fair few levels higher than us, they still roll terribly. It's still a few missions until we get to the part that is actually... that you actually have to grind a little bit for. It's grinding because you just need the levels for the offense level. Although that's it. What do I even have at this point? It could just be or having strong identities. I'm trying to remember what I had at this point. My first playthrough. Yeah, I'd have to look through my account. Karen's Kakahoop parking. Alright, off the bus, time to get inspected. Let me add this just in case you're feeling inclined to your usual antics. Don't go around making a scene expecting things to go your way, because that will not be how it works in this particular place. I thought his words were pretty intimidating, but despite the worries. Welcome all visitors to K-Corp's Nest open-heartedly. Please form an orderly line as you enter, and stand where the instructions indicate. The menacing and interrogative atmosphere could subdue the temper of any first-time visitors, and the sitters were no exception. I could occasionally hear Sinclair sniffling, followed by Roja and Gregor calling him. Anyway, my question is why we're met with heads shaken sideways. Look here, how nice it is to see you all stay and letting behave, like broods of chicks on an outing. Wait, why are you out here? What made you follow us inside the bus this time? Notice my flustered reaction at the unexpected company, Virgilius opened his mouth. This is a nest, Dante. If one of you were to get into unexpected trouble here, well, Dante, the responsibility will be a bit too heavy for you to bear alone. Virgilius put it like that. It sounded as if he were saying, you're not reliable enough to be sent without supervision. But I knew it'd be wise to keep this to myself. I entirely forgot that this was at this point. I love Wild Hunt. Okay. Yeah, we'll finish things off for this time. And next time, we'll continue on with Canto 3. But until then, see you guys later.